at Vyasa, and he has been a member of various things, UGCs and other things, UGC member and other things like that. Various awards are there. We will not go to all that. We will see him and like to hear from him and get inspiration. And various books, the most important thing is, he's authored various things, how the mind is connected to the body and the mind and the body and those combinations and mathematics of that. And he's been very ardent speaker in Telugu as well as Tamil, and he has very much translated these other things, the commentaries of the Gita to the Telugu and the Tamil and other things. I don't want to go to all of them except to say that we are blessed by your presence over here, and we look forward to get the inspiration. The inspiration we're looking for that, so that we carry forward what you have told to the Indian cadets who tell us today, so that we will become not only get the discipline but also have the human touch because we deal with human beings. Most welcome, sir. Thank you for all being here. Sorry for the small audience because the last day of the vacation. If I call my students, they say, last day we next what I say. So that's the thing that we are there. But we will carry forward your message and your inspiration. Welcome, sir.
Esteemed friends, I was a little confused when I arrived in this campus. Was I entering a government institution or a corporate sector institution? The spick and span maintenance of the campus, the hygienic atmosphere, the good discipline, and the way the patients were kept, the way the entire community was working here, it did not suit the usual government organizations. Normally in a government organization we find dust everywhere, foul-smelling washrooms, spider webs, indifferent people, lethargic, insincere, corrupt. These are the traits of a government hospital. But when I come here, I find totally a different atmosphere. Kudos, appreciation, my encomiums to the entire team led by Dr. Srinivas for the wonderful work that is being done here. I am very happy. I am standing in front of a disciplined audience. I am standing in front of a committed audience. I am standing in front of people who have dedicated their lives for the welfare of mankind. With this brief introduction, I would like to go to the topic. Now, my watch shows 2:20. I go up to 3 o'clock. That means 40 minutes. Why do you make an announcement of the time when you complete, you may ask? You can set your minds. You need not be in a dilemma. You need not be worried about the end of the talk. At 3 sharp, I stop. But my friends, I had been a devotee of Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Holy Mother Sharada Devi for the past several years. Because I have been a faithful devotee of these 3 Holy Trinity people, they have blessed with me with certain powers. And that power is, I have control over time. Without my instruction, the watches do not move. It's only when I stop lecturing, it will show 3 o'clock. Till then, the watches do not move. Therefore, be ready to have the talk at 3 o'clock completed. I do not know how many of you are familiar with Telugu. Those people who do not know English, those people who do not know Telugu, only 1%. Even the colloquial Telugu. Very good, fine. Now and then I will switch over to Telugu. Friends, I am an old man. My age requires to be called a Vanaprasthi. I had held many positions. I retired as the Pro-Chancellor of S. Vyasa University. Dr. H.R. Nagendra is the Chancellor. Next to him is myself, Pro-Chancellor. And then you have a Vice-Chancellor and the Pro-Vice-Chancellor. I am the Pro-Chancellor. After this, what is it I do? I am a Vanaprasthi. I don't want to be a burden. Our tradition says we can go to Benares, Kashi. With whatever savings I have, I go to Kashi. Like me, even today, many Indians, on account of their Hindu sentiment, settle down in Kashi, Pavitra Sthala, waiting for the call. They go with the rough calculation that they would live for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, and they would spend their time. Fortunately or unfortunately, they do not die at the appointed time. And nobody bothers about them. Their children have forgotten about them. Such people, even today, you can find on the banks of river Ganga. During the time of Swami Vivekananda, sometime in 1897, 98, 99, after his trip to the European countries, he went there to Chicago. On the 31st of July 1893, he returned to India on the 26th of January 1897. After 97, he went round the country once again. When he was lecturing everywhere, there was one young medical graduate who was fascinated by the lectures of Vivekananda. 1897లో ఆయన భారతదేశానికి వచ్చాడు. ఆయన అద్భుతమైనటువంటి ఉపన్యాసాలని విని ఇన్స్పైర్ అయినాడు. ఒక మెడికల్ గ్రాడ్యుయేట్. స్వామీజీ, I shall also come with you. Where do you come? Wherever you go, I shall accompany you. వాళ్ళిద్దరూ కలిసి they were going round. They were in Kashi. ఆ గంగా నది ఒడ్డున ఈయన ఆయన శిష్యుడు కలిసి పర్యటిస్తూ ఉంటే they found many sick people unattended, uncared, left. There were people with loose motions, with asthma suffering, with hypertension, no money, nobody to take care of them, no clothes even. You can imagine in 1898 how the conditions were. And that medical graduate who was a disciple of Swami Vivekananda looked at them. In the evening went to Swamiji. Swamiji, వీళ్ళందరినీ చూస్తుంటే కడుపు తరుక్కుపోతోంది, కళ్ళలో నీళ్లు, హృదయంలో ఉద్రేగం, మనస్సులో చింతన. I am unable to tolerate this plight of these people. I must do something to create a healthy atmosphere to them. What shall I do? What can I do? Swamiji looked at him. If you have so much feeling to do service to those people, come on, do it. How can I do it, sir? I don't have medicines. I don't have a stethoscope. I don't have a thermometer. I do not have the operators. I do not have the stretcher. I have only one thing, and that is the heart which feels for the people. Swamiji said, that's enough. Feel for the plight of the downtrodden. Feel for the sick and the old. That feeling is enough. That's not enough, sir. Where is the money? I want money. In those days, Swami Vivekananda had 1/4 of a rupee in his pocket. 25 paise. 1/4 of a rupee. He took that coin, gave it to that man. He said, come on, start your service activity. The gentleman took that 1/4 of a rupee into his hands as though it was the blessing of Swami Vivekananda, put it in his pocket, went to a tree, under its shade there was a man suffering from cholera. He lifted the man, washed him. His own turban was removed and covered round the patient. He carried that man all the way from the banks of Ganga to the government hospital in Kashi. People in the street were looking. What is this young man doing? Oh, Musalan Bhujam meeda veskoni Ganga nadi oddu nunchi government hospital varaku teesketunnaru. What is this man? Everybody was looking. He went to the government hospital. He talked to the medical superintendent. Sir, I am a medical graduate. See my ID. This particular patient is suffering from this particular ailment. He will be all right. Please believe my words. Here is the patient. I have carried him more than 8 kilometers. Please give me this particular man. Took the patient back to the place and dropped him. After another 2 hours, he carried back another patient. This time, it was another ailment. Again, the medical superintendent gave. When he was doing like this, carrying, sir, rozu enta mandanu mosukostaru. Common ailments ki common medicines. I will give you a box of common medicines. Please keep them with you. Use them. There were some more patients who required to be carried again. And the medical organization stretcher was handed over. The past you are used. You take the entire house, convert this into a hospital of even inpatients, and slowly develop. Today in Benares, you have the biggest hospital named after Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi. It had its beginnings like this. And the man who did that service activity was Swami Kalyanananda. You don't require medicines. You don't require a stretcher. You don't require anything. What we require to serve the community is a feeling of love and concern. When you have that overflowing love towards the community, when you have that concern for the fellow human being, things come on their own. Swamiji was basically a humanist. He would ask everyone to have a feeling for the downtrodden. He himself had the fervor of a feeling. If we study the works of Swami Vivekananda, we find him first and foremost a humanist. And such is the basis of this. We are all old people. Whenever we listen to the name of a doctor, we immediately prostrate at the doctor's feet because Vaidyo Narayano Harihi. Doctor is God for me. Vaidyeeswaran, Lord Shiva is the doctor. It is in the doctor I see the deity. It is towards the doctor I have the greatest devotion. And having been the higher pedestal of being a doctor, how much more loving should we be towards the needy society? This is the culture of this country. When I take the medicine, I think of Lord Narayana as a doctor. When I take the medicine, I think of Lord Shiva as the doctor. And that is the reputation this country has. This country once upon a time was capable of producing such physicians and stalwart surgeons that the entire world was looking at India for medical services. What a fall, my countrymen, now it has fallen. I am a speaker. I go to one particular place, I was addressing the school children. And during my talk I asked, Amma, inni రోజులుగా నేను మహాభారతం రామాయణం చెబుతున్నాను. మహాభారతంలో పాండవుల గురించి చెప్పాను, కౌరవుల గురించి చెప్పాను, కృష్ణుడి గురించి చెప్పాను. Among the Pandavas, whom do you like most? I asked a child. And one girl child of 9th standard or even less, 8th standard stood up and said, Sir, I love Arjun. Yemma, పాండవులందరిలోనూ అర్జునుడు అందంగా ఉంటాడని ప్రేమిస్తున్నావా? అర్జున పలుకున పార్థ కిరీటి బీభత్స ధనంజయ సత్యసాచి 10 పేర్లు కలిగినటువంటి వాడి కనుక ప్రేమిస్తున్నావా? Because he is the richest you love, or because he is Vijaya you love? What is the reason? And the girl child told me, no sir, not those reasons. Then, sir, 5 పాండవులు అరణ్యవాసం చేస్తున్నప్పుడు the 5 brothers were given a piece of advice by Sri Krishna. And he said, you are not fools to miss the opportunity. Good. You are not mediocre people to wait for the opportunity. You are intelligent people to make the opportunity. You are wise people capable of finding opportunities everywhere. You are great yogis capable of changing a disadvantage also into an advantage. Aranyavasam is not a disadvantage. Mr. Bhim, don't think you can very easily beat the Duryodhan. Duryodhan దగ్గర యుక్తి ఉంది, భీమాని దగ్గర శక్తి ఉంది. శక్తి మాత్రం చాలదు, యుక్తి కూడా కావాలి. అరణ్యవాసంలో ఉన్నావు, మీ అన్నగారు హనుమంతుడు ఇక్కడ ఉన్నాడు, ఆయన దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి శుశ్రూష చేసి you learn the tricks of boxing, wrestling, single man fighting. గదాయుద్ధ ప్రవీణుడుగా. This is an opportunity. Aranyavasam is not a disadvantage, it's an advantage. Mr. Arjun, you are thinking high of yourself. Karna is superior to you in many respects. You are trained by Drona. He is trained by Parshurama. You are educated only in Hyderabad. He is abroad. Therefore, your knowledge is not sufficient. Your abilities are not sufficient. Do tapasya. Win that atomic weapon, nuclear weapon, Pashupakastra from Lord Shiva. And then there is another world, America, London. Go to the other countries, Swarga. There is a particular champion, Chitraratha. He is capable of giving extraordinary instruction in the field of archery. Go there. Akkada viluvitya nerchuko. You will come back, then it will be a match to Karna, you will be in a position to defeat him. Disadvantage is to be converted into an advantage. అప్పుడు అర్జునుడు అంటాడు, నేనా అరణ్యవాసంలో ఉన్నాను, స్వర్గానికి వెళ్ళాలంటే, అమెరికాకి వెళ్ళాలంటే, లండన్కి వెళ్ళాలంటే పాస్పోర్ట్ కావాలి, ఎవడిస్తాడు? అక్కడ అడ్మిషన్ సంపాదించేది ఎట్లా, వీసా తెచ్చుకునేది ఎట్లా, దారి ఖర్చులు ఎవరిస్తాడు, అక్కడ ఉండడానికి మెయింటైన్ చేయడానికి ఎవరిస్తారు? Then immediately Yudhishthira, Bhima and others said, we are your brothers. మేమున్నామయ్యా, నీకు కావలసిన పాస్పోర్ట్ I will provide. We will collect money and we will give you the money. I will get you the visa for you. All the remaining 4 brothers came forward. They helped him. Arjuna got the passport with the help of his brothers, got the visa to go to Swarga with the help of his brothers, he went to heaven. అక్కడ యూనివర్సిటీలో సీట్ దొరికింది. వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ గారు అద్భుతంగా పాఠాలు చెబుతున్నారు. 6 సెమిస్టర్స్ కోర్స్ కంప్లీటెడ్. ఏకాగ్ర చిత్తంతో అర్జునుడు అభ్యసించాడు. అయిన తర్వాత he was awarded the gold medal. He was number 1 rank holder. The vice chancellor Chitraratha came. My dear young man, you have proved your worth. You are the best student. Stay here. I am going to retire. Na tarvata you will be the vice chancellor. You will be the professor. You will be the best man. Stay here. Arjun said, no. Yeah, I must go back to my people. Who are your people? Dharmaraj, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, they are my brothers. Why do you want to go? It's my duty to go back. And his request was turned down by Arjun. That professor went to Indra. He went to Trump. He went to Obama. Sir, భారతదేశం నుంచి వచ్చాడు, ప్రతిభాశాలి, సాఫ్ట్వేర్, మెడికల్, ఆర్చరీ, ఇన్ ఎవ్రీ ఫీల్డ్ హీస్ అన్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్. వీడిని కనుక తిరిగి భారతదేశానికి పంపించేశారు అంటే భారతదేశం బికమ్స్ వెరీ వెరీ పవర్ఫుల్. ఇటువంటి టెక్నోక్రాట్స్, ఇటువంటి ఇంజనీర్స్, ఇటువంటి డాక్టర్స్, ఇటువంటి స్పెషలిస్ట్ మన అమెరికాలోనే ఉండాలి. Therefore, please somehow retain అని చెప్పి ఆ ప్రొఫెసర్ went to Devendra, the president of Swarga, the president of America. And that gentleman immediately called Arjun. My dear son, I will give you green card. You will be the next president of the US. Arjun said, no, nothing doing. I have come only to study. I have come only to equip myself with additional qualifications. I have got the training, it's more than enough. I don't want to stay here. My brothers have sent me here. They have educated me. They have got the passport for me. They have maintained me here in this Swarga with their money, with their output. I will go back. The Vice Chancellor failed to retain Arjun. The President of US also failed to retain Arjun. ఏ రోజుని అర్జునుడు స్వర్గానికి వెళ్ళాడో, చదువుకోవడానికి అమెరికాకి వెళ్ళాడో, ఆ రోజు నుంచి చూస్తుంది ఒక అమ్మాయి అర్జునుడి. చక్కటి విగ్రహం, ఆజానుబాహు, చక్కటి కళ్ళు, విశాల వక్షస్థలం, విశాలమైనటువంటి ఫోర్హెడ్. The gait was majestic. The looks were poignant. The heart was very wide. Such a wonderful, mighty, majestic, magnificent personality. When he was entering the university, a girl looked at him. వాడు క్లాస్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు చూస్తోంది, లైబ్రరీలో చూసింది, లాబొరేటరీలో చూసింది. She was following wherever he went, and the man never cared for her. Now the study was complete. He was going back to India. He was going back to Aranyavasa. He was going back to his brothers. He was packing his luggage in his hostel room. Indra's request was turned down. Vice Chancellor's request was turned down. And now this most beautiful girl, Urvasi, an American white girl, went to lure him. Arjun, she said, for the first time, he looked at her. During his career, during his studyhood, he would never cared because ekagra chittam, with thorough concentration, full involvement, complete commitment, he was educated. He never diverted his attention, he never looked at this side and that side, whether it is a girl or a boy, he never bothered about. With concentrated effort, he got the degree. Now that he was packing to return home, the girl came and asked, Mister, I love you. Usual sentence. Arjun, look, get out. Where are you going? To India. In India where? Forest. Who is there? My wife. Dark girl, black girl, Indian girl, rustic girl, village girl, we have no sense. We are rich, we are white, we are beautiful, we are attractive, we are irresistible. How is it you can refuse me? Don't say a word about Indian women. Swami Vivekananda was lecturing abroad about the glory of Indian women. Wherever he went, he was speaking highly of the Indian women. At one point of time, one lady asked, how is it so much you speak about your Indian women? When he said, my women, it was from the Nagar. Mother Bharat, when he said it was from the heart of his heart. When he said it, what is the reason why you give glorification to your women of India? Then Swamiji said, if you take 100 people in India, 100 women, 99% are chaste, pure. All the 100 men may not be pure. Even today, the purity of women in India is protecting the country and the family. Custodians of purity are the women of India. And Swamiji spoke highly of Indian women there, and here Arjun says, don't say a word about Draupadi. Spoke highly of Indian women there, and here Arjun says, don't say a word about Draupadi. She is a chaste lady, a Mahapativrata. How can you compare yourself with her? I am going to her. To eat herbs, there is Aranyavasa. Roads are bad. There is no electrical supply. Water will not be continuously flowing. There will be only taps when you turn. There will be no water flowing to that dirty country. Country of sufferings. Country of corruption. Country of laziness. Country of indifference. Country of escapism. Do you want to go there? This is the normal terminology used by the people in England, in Ireland, in Scotland, in European countries and in US. Any man who goes there does not want to come back. And all those words were said by Urvasi, like a word more I will not tolerate it. Get out. She got angry with Arjun. I curse you. You do anything. I go back. And she cursed him to become a yogi. In spite of his turning to be a person of no manliness, he preferred to be a patriot of this country. That girl of 9 years, in the classroom, she said, I love Arjun, sir. Why? Because he's a patriot. మంచి ఉద్యోగాలు అమెరికాలో వస్తే వెళ్లకుండా, ఇంద్ర పదవే ఇస్తానని ఇద్దరు పలికినప్పుడు ఉండకుండా, అందరిలోకి అందమైనటువంటి ఊర్వశి వచ్చి వరించి వివాహం చేసుకోమని అర్థిస్తే ఒప్పుకోకుండా, అరణ్యవాసంలో అలమటించడానికి, కష్టాలు పడటానికి, ద్రౌపదితో నివసించడానికి, భార్యను పంచుకోవడానికి అన్నదమ్ములతో కలిసి వచ్చాడు. వై? దే హ్యావ్ ఎడ్యుకేటెడ్ హిమ్. It's my land. Same is the case with Sri Ramachandra Prabhu. రావణ సంహారం పూర్తయింది. రామలక్ష్మణుడు కూర్చున్నారు. సీతాదేవి వచ్చింది. అప్పుడు లక్ష్మణుడు అన్నాడట, why go back all the way to Ayodhya? Vibhishan is our man. We can sit here and enjoy the pleasures. Pushpaka Vimanam is available. All the rich treasures are at our disposal. Anna, Rama, we will stay here. Nothing to do. I have come all the way from Ayodhya, brother. You might have studied me. I brought Ayodhya nunchi matti. Every day I open the packet of that matti, prostrate myself at the feet. Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. It's my land. It's my motherland. It's my mother. And Rama's patriotism, Arjuna's patriotism, coming to Vivekananda. 11th of September. Everybody knows that historic day. That historic day, morning he was an unknown person. 31వ తేదీ జూలై నెల Vivekananda entered Chicago. Somebody said, Mister, the Parliament of Religions is scheduled to open on the 11th of September. It's only 31st of July. You have to spend your time here the entire August, September, then about 40 days you have to spend here. Do you have enough money to maintain yourself now? And somebody suggested you go to Boston. Boston is comparatively a cheaper place. There you can live with your money and try your luck. After returning to Chicago on the 10th of September, he went there, he returned, and that itself was a historic journey. While going, he went to the station, Chicago station, to go to Boston. తన లాడ్జిలో రూమ్ ఖాళీ చేసుకుని సామాన్తో చికాగో స్టేషన్కి వచ్చాడు వివేకానందుడు. తన కంపార్ట్మెంట్ లో విండో సీట్ దొరికింది, కూర్చున్నాడు. ఆ కంపార్ట్మెంట్ లో 8 మంది ఉన్నారు. విండో నుంచి ప్రకృతిని తిలకిస్తూ, సౌందర్యాన్ని తిలకిస్తూ కూర్చున్నాడు వివేకానందుడు. వచ్చిన వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళి వాళ్ళంతా మరొక్కసారి ఆ దివ్యమంగళ విగ్రహాన్ని తిలకించడానికి, చూడటానికి లోపలికి వస్తున్నారు, వెళ్తున్నారు. అండ్ దెన్ in that compartment I said there are 8 people, Swamiji is one and there is another lady, Mrs. Sanborn. There are 6 more foreigners. They are white, they are tall, they are rich, they are handsome, they are popular. And వచ్చేవాళ్ళు వెళ్ళేవాళ్ళు అంతా వివేకానందుడు చూస్తున్నారే తప్ప ఈ 6 ఎవరు చూడలేదు. When Sri Ramachandra Prabhu went to Mithila Nagar for Sita Swayamvara along with Vishwamitra and Lakshman, వీధిలో రాముడు నడుస్తూ ఉంటే ప్రజలంతా రోడ్డుకు వచ్చి తిలకించి చూసి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారే తప్ప nobody stayed in the house. Everybody came, thronged to the road. శ్రీరాఘవం దశరథాత్మజమప్రమేయం సీతాపతిం రఘుకులాన్వయ రత్నదీపం ఆజానుబాహుం అరవింద దళాయతాక్షం రామం నిశాచర వినాశకరం. ఆ దివ్యమంగళ విగ్రహాన్ని తిలకించి చూసించి ఆస్వాదించి ఆనందించడానికి వస్తున్నారు, వెళ్తున్నారు. అదే విధంగా కంసుడి యొక్క ధనుర్యాగానికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు శ్రీకృష్ణ పరమాత్మను చూడటానికి జనం అంతా తండోపతండాలుగా వచ్చారు. సమీప కాలంలో వివేకానందుడు చికాగో వీధిలో నడుస్తూ ఉంటే ఎంతో మంది వచ్చి చూసేవారట. ఆయన స్టేషన్కి వచ్చాడు, రైలు ఎక్కాడు, విండోలో కూర్చున్నాడు, విండో సీట్లో. ఈ వచ్చేవాళ్ళు వెళ్ళేవాళ్ళు చూస్తూ ఉన్నదంతా తిలకించారు 6 అమెరికన్ జెంటిల్మెన్. వీళ్ళందరూ వచ్చింది అసూయ. After the train departed, one of the American gentlemen broke the silence, called Swamiji, "Excuse me, sir." సాధారణంగా foreigners without a formal introduction they don't talk to each other. మన వాళ్ళైతే బస్ ఎక్కిన వెంటనే, రైలు ఎక్కిన వెంటనే, విమానం ఎక్కిన వెంటనే మీరు ఎవరండి, మీ ఊరెంతమంది, ఏ ఊరండి, మీకు ఆడపిల్లలు ఉన్నారా అండి, పెళ్లి కావాల్సిన వాళ్ళు ఎవరైనా ఉన్నారా అండి, 1,00,000 ప్రశ్నలు 1,00,000 వేస్తారు. In US it is not etiquette to talk to a person without a formal introduction. But Swamiji's personality was such, the American gentleman asked a straight question, "Excuse me, sir." And Swamiji was looking at the treetops, birds, sky and the flying clouds. He came down. "Yes. For the past 45 minutes I have been observing you, sir. People are coming and looking at you and going. How is it they have not bothered to look at us? We are taller than you, we are better than you, we are brighter than you, we are richer than you, and we are the people of this place. And sannyasis are not new, both the bhikshus are there everywhere. What is this speciality? What is your supremacy? మీ గొప్పతనం ఏమిటి, మా తక్కువతనం ఏమిటి, అందరూ మిమ్మల్ని ఎందుకు చూస్తున్నారు, మమ్మల్ని ఎందుకు చూడటం లేదు? That American gentleman raised the question. Then Swamiji immediately gave the reply, "Sir, to make you look like a gentleman, you require a cobbler to make your shoes, a barber to give a haircut, a washerman to clean your clothes and press them, and perhaps you require a makeup man also from behind to put the coat on you. But sir, in India, to be a gentleman, only one is needed." And what is that? It is a character that makes a gentleman in India. It is the appearance that makes you look like a gentleman in the West. అది విన్న వెంటనే ఒక్క స్త్రీ ముసలిది ఒక ఆమె మిస్ శాన్బార్న్ 65 years. She was there. She looked at Swamiji. Sabash, young man, for the first time I have heard that character is the keystone for becoming a gentleman. Where are you going? Boston. Where do you stay? I do not know. Depending on whom are you going? I depend on myself. Atmavishwasam, self-confidence. Sabash. In such case, I treat you like my son. Come to my house. Be my guest. No guest, you are my family member. I will treat you as my son. Come and stay with me. He went there. He stayed there with her. And it was she who introduced Swami Vivekananda to Professor Wright, who wrote a beautiful letter to the President of the Parliament of Religions, Mr. Barrows. And on the 9th of September, with the money given by Professor Wright, with the introduction letter given by Professor Wright, he proceeded back to Chicago. 10th morning, Sunday, he landed. The address was asked. He could not remember the address where he should go. He went on making inquiries. Wherever he went, people said, we do not know, we do not know, we do not know. Finally, at about 8:30 in the morning, he sat on the roadside with his head on his knees. Bhagavantuda, నిన్ను నేమ్మి భారతదేశం యొక్క ప్రపంచం అంతా తెలియజేయడానికి అంత దూరం నుంచి ఇంత దూరం వచ్చాను. దిక్కు లేదు, అడ్రస్ తెలియదు, ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళాలో తెలియదు, ఆకలి, నిద్రించలేదు, స్నానం చేయలేదు, నో ఫ్రెషనింగ్. వేర్ డు యు టేక్ మీ? He felt and he sat. Opposite there was a house. The 3rd floor or 4th floor there was an angel-like woman, Mrs. Hale. She peeped out, came down, crossed the road, went to Swamiji. Sir, are you a delegate to the Parliament of Religions? Yes. She took him in. She provided the shelter. She gave him breakfast. She took him to Professor Barrows. And in the afternoon that day by about 2:45, the unknown monk of India in the morning became a global personality in the afternoon with his wonderful historic address with the feeling for the mankind, sisters and brothers of America. When I say nobody claps. Why? It is from the lips. When he says, it's from the heart. And people were surprised, they applauded. More than 3.5 minutes, people were spellbound. There was so much of sound, it could not be lulled down. But immediately, some people came, touched his feet and kissed his shoes. Orderliness came. He delivered the historic address, and it is nothing but the essence of Hindu spirit, and that is love, love, love. It's not tolerance, it's assimilation. It's not mere patience, it is involvement. It's not mere service, it is affectionate commitment, which the teacher should have, which a doctor should have, which a citizen should have, and that was the fellow feeling with wonderful fervor he spoke. People were astounded. ఆ రోజు రాత్రి ఆయనకి posh lodgings were provided. రాత్రి 8 గంటల నుంచి 11 గంటల వరకు చికాగోలో ఉన్నటువంటి ధనికులైతేనేమి, పొలిటీషియన్స్ అయితేనేమి, ఆఫీసర్స్ అయితేనేమి, one after the other, people were pouring into his room with gifts. రకరకాలైనటువంటి ఆహార పదార్థాలు. They were showering encomiums, they were bringing gifts, food items. అందరూ వెళ్ళిపోవడానికి రాత్రి 11 గంటలైంది. Food is waiting, bed is inviting. The day has been long, he is tired. ఆ పరిస్థితుల్లో నేను కనుక ఉన్నట్లయితే ఈ వీళ్ళంతా ఎప్పుడు పోతారా భగవంతుడాని వాళ్ళ పోయిన వెంటనే తినేసి బాగా నిద్రపోయి ఉండేవాడు. స్వామీజీ did not eat. He did not go to bed. He looked at the food. He looked at the gifts. He looked at the bed and food, and he rolled on the floor and wept profusely. లక్షలాది భారతీయులకి తిండి కట్టుగుడ్డ లేక ఉండడానికి ఇల్లు లేక వ్యాధిగ్రస్తులై వీధుల్లో అలమటిస్తున్నప్పుడు నేను ఒక్కడిని సుఖంగా పాశ్చాత్య దేశాలలో ఏసీ రూముల్లో ఉంటే ఈజ్ ఇట్ రైట్? Am I correct? Am I not unfaithful to my people? He felt. రాత్రి పూర్తిగా ఏడ్చి that night he composed 2 sentences. One, him I call a Mahatma whose heart bleeds for the poor. You may be a teacher, but can be a Mahatma if you feel for the student community. You may be a doctor. If you feel for your patients, you are a Mahatma. You may be a politician. If you feel for the citizens, you are a Mahatma. In any field, in any activity, one can become a Mahatma. The condition, the requirement is fellow feeling. Him I call a Mahatma whose heart bleeds for the poor. కష్టపడుతుండే వాళ్ళని చూసి, దరిద్రులను చూసి, దుఃఖి హృదయంలో వాళ్ళని చూసి, పేషెంట్స్ ని చూసి ఎవరు విలపిస్తారో, ఎవరు దుఃఖిస్తారో, ఎవరు సేవ చేయడానికి ముందరకు వస్తారో, దట్ జెంటిల్మన్ ఈజ్ మహాత్మా. మహాత్మా గాంధీ గారు మధుర మహానగరానికి వచ్చాడు తమిళనాడులో లాంగ్. ఆయన ఉపన్యాసం మధ్యాహ్నం 3 గంటలకి. పీపుల్ వర్ థ్రాంగింగ్. ఆ రోజుల్లో పీపుల్ వర్ వెరీ సింపుల్. ఆయన కరెక్ట్ గా 3 గంటలకు వచ్చాడు. మోర్ దాన్ 1.5 hours in the month of May. డార్క్ ట్యాండ్ బాడీస్, ఓషన్ ఆఫ్ హ్యుమానిటీ. ఇంతమంది ప్రజలు ఎదురుకుండా పైన వేసుకోవడానికి చొక్కా లేకుండా, షర్ట్ లేకుండా, షాల్ లేకుండా, టవల్ లేకుండా కూర్చున్నప్పుడు he felt for the mankind. ఇంతమందికి వేసుకోవడానికి షర్ట్ లేకుండా ఉన్నప్పుడు నేను ఒక్కడిని మాత్రం వేసుకోవడం ఎందుకని that day he removed. Afterwards he did not put on the upper garment. That day he was called Mahatma. Him I call a Mahatma whose heart bleeds for the poor. అంతటితోటి ఆపలేదు వివేకానంద. He composed the second sentence. Him I call a Duratma. Him I call a Drohi. Him I call a traitor. Him I call a scoundrel, who having been educated at the cost of millions and millions of poor people, వాళ్ళు కట్టినటువంటి ట్యాక్స్ డబ్బులతోటి చక్కటి కాలేజీల్లో, యూనివర్సిటీస్ లో కూర్చుని సుఖంగా చదువుకుని డిగ్రీలు సంపాదించి తిరిగి ఆ ప్రజలకి ఎవ్వరూ ఏమీ చేయకుండా ఎలా ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళు ద్రోహులు. Him I call a traitor. Him I call a drohi. Him I call a scoundrel, who having been educated at the cost of millions and millions of poor people, who does not think of them, who does not love them, who does not live for them. In the entire country now, how many Mahatmas do we have? How many Duratmas do we have? How many people are coming back to the motherland? That poor child, a school child of 9th standard said, I love Arjun because of his patriotic fervor. And Swami Vivekananda says, him I call a Mahatma. I find in this particular hospital group of Mahatmas. Not like a regular government hospital where there is escapism, where there is corruption, where there is indifference, where there is lethargy. Here, under the leadership of Dr. Srinivas, I find the people committed to the cause of health, loving towards the patients. They have the sense of hygiene and discipline. Once again, I appreciate the entire team led by Dr. Srinivas. This is a stepping stone for the progress of Indian civilization and culture. Dharma is not dead. It is only in a state of slumber. Here and there, we have those Dharmatmas, we have those Mahatmas, we have those disciplined, committed people. The proof is this particular institution. I am very, very glad I am being given an opportunity to talk to you. I thank Dr. Srinivas and his team for the wonderful opportunity you have given. Let us be blessed people. Let us be Mahatmas. Let us feel for the patient, feel for the fellow human beings. Let us try to build a new nation, real Bharata nation, real Indian cultured nation. Thank you very much for giving me.
Thank you.